I'm here with Louis C. Herrin III, who is running for City Council District 4. And can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your environmental perspectives? You work in the field.
For the last 30, I've been working for the state for 35 years. For the last 33 years, I have been basically a civil/environmental engineer. I am responsible for several of the state regulations on gray water use, water reuse from effluent from wastewater treatment plants, the design criteria for wastewater treatment plants, collection systems, the sludge provisions for basically for like dillo dirt, land application of sludge. So I've been responsible for those things for the last 20 plus years.
Right. So let's just dive into that topic since you know so much about it. What do you think we should be doing in terms of water quality, water management systems in the city? And what could you do to provide leadership on that?
What I can do for provide leadership, I have an idea on how water is done. I know how much it costs to treat. The one thing the city of Austin needs to do is get a better handle on their and I hate to say, I keep saying get a handle on their piping. They do have a lot of water loss. They are getting below what the state threshold is right now, but the state or the city,
the loss in the lines.
The loss in the lines. If you go all over town, you will see there's leaks, and the city has minor leaks and major leaks, and they repair them. On the water side, the city needs to get to a better asset management program to account for the water. The long-term needs is we need to set up a conservation program. We need to account for the lost revenue from that conservation program, and I think we need to look at long-term planning. I know the city has a contract with LCRA for long-term, but they need but we're falling behind. The other cities are looking at contracting for groundwater in the area.
Yeah, you mentioned that in your candidate questionnaires that we need to be looking at other sources of water. What are you thinking about that? What are your ideas?
One of the things that, and I will know will have a yuck factor, I have been working with Wichita Falls, City of Brownwood, City of El Paso, and several other cities that are looking at going into a total recycling system for their wastewater. We need to set up other types of systems of that nature. I'm not really saying that we need to go, as they would say, toilet to tap, but we need to enhance the water reuse program in this city.
Well, you also say that we need a more realistic gray water system. Can you say more about that?
The city, I wrote the gray water rules. They're real simple. The city, when they went through and adopted their gray water rules, they went through 3 commissions. They went through all this, and they made it where it's so hard, no one will be able to use them. They made them too restrictive.
What needs to be done to fix that?
Need to go back to a much simpler thing. The problem is on a gray water system, you have to replumb your house. An existing house, you're not going to be able to do it, but on new developments, you can do it. But you also have to worry about the other side of the equation. A gray water system will remove about 60 to 70% of the water you get from your house. You still need that other water that comes from your kitchen sink and from your toilets to make sure you flush it, all the stuff down the lines.
Okay. Let's shift to energy. You have ideas about what we should and shouldn't be doing to source our energy.
What I have a problem with is the way the city is talking about shutting down the power plants, selling them or mothballing them, and there's a lot of money invested in there. And the other thing is they're looking at going total to solar and going to wind. The problem with solar and wind energy is you cannot gear up. So if you have a high demand, you're still relying on what is the sun and what the wind's doing. You can't all of a sudden say, I need to produce more energy. So we need to make sure we keep plants in bay so we can have that.
Well, I think some of that's going to be addressed by storage as we move forward, but that's not all here yet.
I don't think we've got the batteries that we're going to be able to do that. Otherwise, also where we're going to store, those batteries aren't going to be these little D-cell batteries. These are going to be
compressed air, things like that.
Big, huge thing. The other thing is the city is wasting a lot of money on their biomass thing they have in East Texas. I've talked to people in East Texas where we're burning wood chips or proposed to burn wood chips. They're laughing at us because we're paying a fortune for that little bit of energy over there, and I'm not even sure if they've produced any energy yet.
Now, you're a proponent of nuclear energy, correct?
I don't have a problem with nuclear energy. there are things coming down the line, there's research that's going to make it, may not be in my lifetime, but down the road, where they're going to be able to handle the waste. There are processes they're looking at right now to reduce the waste from nuclear plants.
All right. So being an elected official and a leader means developing and forwarding priorities. If you could only do one thing in your term of office and you knew you couldn't fail, what would that one thing be?
Solve the transportation problem in the city.
How would you do that? How would you provide leadership?
I would look at every option. One of the things that we have to do is we're going to have to expand. If you go to any city their size, Austin has probably one of the poorest road systems. If you go to San Antonio, you go to Fort Worth, they all have better ways to move around. They still have traffic problems, but they all have better ways. We need to look at everything. I have no problems with trains. When I was in college, I took classes on railroad design. One of the things I did for a special project was design a railroad spur going into a power plant. But we need to look at more things. Trains, buses, and what we have to do, like on buses, Capital Metro is now talking they're losing their ridership. We need to figure out why, and we need to get rid of the stigmatism of riding the bus. We have a lot of people who say, I'm not riding the bus. And the other thing is, for me to ride the bus, say to work, I live 4 miles from where I work.
Right.
It would take me over 2 hours to ride the bus.
Really?
Just because I have to walk a half mile to the bus stop, get on the bus, and where it goes, I basically have to catch a couple of buses to get there, then I have to walk at least another half mile. And I can walk to work in less than an hour.
All right. Well, so if, beyond transportation, is there any other priority that you think we should be emphasizing, and how would you provide leadership on that?
The other things that we need to be looking at is we have housing. Right now, affordable housing is a problem. The city has so many regulations that it makes it hard for a developer to develop. As I was talking to some people last week, I was talking to a developer. He says he can go develop a 2,000 lot subdivision in San Antonio and start building houses in 6 months. He can do that all over the country. But if he comes here in Austin, it will take him over 2 years.
Right.
So Austin has a lot of restrictions on developers. So we need to see if we can streamline the process, get more people to do the inspections. And it's just not for the developers, it's for the homeowners. Austin has a lot of regulations that needs to be streamlined.
All right. Well, that is our time, and thank you so much for being here to talk more about I Learned Things, and hopefully our viewers did too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.